Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Kobe Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Kobe Owens.
And welcome to The Source. One more week we're here. It was hot this week, Kobe.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I left my car running. I'm so glad I don't have gas. I have electric. I went to 2 stores. I had to literally leave my car running. I locked it up. But I had to leave it running just so that I wouldn't come out and bake like a piece of bacon.
Yeah, no, this was by far one of the hottest weeks of the year, if not the hottest week of the year, especially on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where we saw temperatures hit 95, 89, 90, or even 100. I think one day I got in the car, my car said 106 in there. Again, it is very dangerous for people who have health issues, especially lung issues, but then also our seniors as well, too.
Yeah.
So again, which I believe we're going to have a very hot summer.
Yeah.
As we go through these summer weeks, please make sure you're checking in on your relatives and on your neighbors who may be of older age or may have health issues, just to make sure they're okay.
Matter of fact, this is a great time to say check on your relatives, because you can have good health in this weather, and he can overtake you. Making sure you're hydrating. Make sure you're drinking as much water as possible. Not so much those sugary drinks like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, but really drinking water, Gatorade, and things of that nature to really keep your hydration up. Because I was really baffled. And when you come into the church or on our campus to the church, it's so cold in these buildings that it's like you go outside like, oh my God, I hit heat. I was talking to my father on the phone this week, and I said I saw the devil walking across the street today because he was very comfortable. And this was a lot of heat.
Also, I know some roads have started to buckle because of the heat.
Yeah.
Again, be careful while you're on the roads. I know it was somewhere in lower Delaware, below the canal, that one of the roads had buckled. But again, that could happen anywhere. So please just be aware of it when you're driving as well, too. This happened down in Milford, in 5 different places on Route 113 in Sussex County. So again, it's hot out there.
It is.
It's hot.
It is.
Stay hydrated, drink water, but also make sure you're in the AC, cool spaces. There are cooling stations all throughout the city of Wilmington. Friendship House is one of them at 719 Shipley Street, as well as the Resurrection Center over in the 1st District with the Delaware First State Resilient Hub as well, too.
And I got a few suggestions I want to also offer, too. Maybe they could, for those who may have the DART bus schedule, it's good to just take a bus ride and then get off at the mall and take a walk through the mall too, because that's a free place you can go. You can spend a nice portion of your day. I don't want them to really be sitting out there waiting on buses, but if you know that the bus is supposed to come at 9 and you get there at 5 of 9, that won't harm you too much. They have those little fans on your collar now. I've been seeing some women who are going through the change. I saw them, but now it's becoming popular. Everything we can do. That's why I want to say hats off to the city of Wilmington, because they're starting back up their fan program. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, so you can reach out to our constituent service office, and they could provide you with a fan as long as you didn't get a fan the year prior. They have dozens and dozens and dozens of fans stacked up in their office right now that they've been giving out to the community. If you're unable to come out, I believe they have someone who could deliver you the fan. Again, this is for seniors 65 and up, so that they have one way of cooling themselves down at least.
Yeah, and you need more than a fan right now.
Yeah.
But we're very grateful that the city of Wilmington is continuously moving forward in the right direction as it relates to, especially this heat wave. And I've lost some relatives to heat and not knowing they had transitioned because people don't check up on them as they need to. But we do hope they really will. Everybody will check up. And please do not try to overexert yourself. Try your best to just stay calm. don't even get angry with people. Just be calm, and everything should work out well while we get through this heat wave. Climate change is happening, and people need to really start facing this. The
Yeah.
Republican says it's a hoax. I don't think it's a hoax. I just think that we need to really pay close attention to our climate. And speaking of the city of Wilmington, we're very grateful that they have done. They're keeping this fan program going. But I'm also grateful because I've not had any shootings reported that I'm aware of
No.
for this week. So I'm just grateful, and I don't want to make no jokes about it. I'm grateful that the shooting was down this week, and there were no murders that we are aware of, and I'm very grateful for that as well.
Absolutely. And I think, the Wilmington Police Department, they have been doing a good job. Again, I'm going to give kudos to the community.
Let me just take a moment and clap. No, let me clap real fast, because you have been we have been such critics of the Wilmington Police Department, even under Captain what's his name again? Campos's leadership first term. But here recently, I hope people are seeing that we are fair. They are doing the best they can. They're doing really well right now, and I'm very grateful for that. So go ahead.
I think with a change of administration, it allowed for Chief Campos to really implement some of the things that he had been really wanting to implement when it comes to community policing, and I think that has led to better relationships in the community. Again, I'm not saying the relationship's completely healed and mended, but what I'm saying is I'm seeing better engagement into the community, and that's all the community was asking for. Under Michael Pazicki, it was a dictatorship. Again, he took playbooks right out of Donald Trump's hands, and now Trump's using his playbook for how he's handling things with ICE and creating division in the community. I have said this before. I think Carney has done a good job when it comes to this. Again, there's still a lot going forward, but he has allowed Chief Campos to really implement some good policies.
And it's very much evident and noted.
Yeah.
And I have one last thing I want to talk about today, because I really want to get to the Kobe Corner today, because we have some interesting stuff. You talked about Donald Trump's playbook and how the former mayor was very much in line with the styles and practices of Donald Trump and some of the city council persons. We're going to really talk about that data. So those of you watching, it's going to be talked about today. But the strike on Iran, there's two opinions out there.
Yes.
There's one opinion that is basically just done away with. And then there's another opinion out there that they set them back only a couple of months because they moved their materials. Where do you sit on that?
Yeah, so multiple U.S. officials and other global officials have said that the strike that the U.S. took out on the nuclear facilities in Iran would only set back Iran by a few months. Iran has come out and said the same thing as well, too. Trump, on the other hand, has come out multiple times and said nothing was taken out of the nuclear site. We destroyed it all.
How does he know?
Well, I guess he
I
missed it while he was on.
I alone can solve all the world's problems.
He missed it while he was on the golf course, I'm guessing. But again, I truly do believe that the strike was not well planned out. It was a very hasty move, and I think it was a move that was used in order to really push through getting this big, beautiful bill on the other side, on the domestic side of things. So again, I don't think they really planned this out. And it potentially has started opportunity for a war to brew and start here between America and Iran and even other global forces as well too, which is going to lead to the loss of life. And it's, again, I said this last week, I'll keep saying this, it will not be Donald Trump's family, it will not be Mitch McConnell's family or any of their families who get sent over there. It will be everyday Americans who will get sent over to fight for a war of ideology.
Wow. Yeah, and I've been following it very closely, thinking what is going to be next. It's kind of, they really know they can't beat us, but they can do stuff with terror attacks. And that's where I don't want to start alarming people, but you got to think about the fact that some of the terror attacks that they will successfully have been able to accomplish have really devastated countries, including America. So we're praying that that they did destroy all of the nuclear weapons or weaponry, and that that nothing really comes out of this other than conversation, because it's going to be devastating if we really run into that. I want to turn our attention as we are now closing out for this segment of the show, because this was a very quick segment, because I got a lot of questions. As I promised those of you who watch us on the show, I promised that I was going to make a phone call into Councilwoman Harley, and I made that telephone and did have a brief conversation with her, because Kobe had alleged several things, and I wanted to know, because I know my council person, I've had a very good relationship with her, but I want to make sure that I'm hearing facts and not a bunch of fluff. And that's just who I am as a person. I'm more of a researcher. And then I also, after speaking with her, I also found myself getting some emails that were sent in the secret of the night, and several council people were out of that loop. It's just too much dirtiness that I'm starting to see. I'm concerned. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and during Kobe's Corner, we're going to attack some of this conversation. And my goal is to make sure that while we're attacking it, I'm being neutral, but I'm not happy when I'm getting one bit of information and then I'm getting another bit of information, but people who I'm getting information from one side is providing me with facts that I can't really dispute. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Smiles are powerful. A simple smile can light up a whole room. And for 25 years, Smile Train has been lighting up the world with smiles. And each smile marks a step towards a brighter future. As the world's largest cleft lip and palate charity, Smile Train has supported more than 2 million life-changing cleft surgeries in over 90 countries, leaving a legacy of resilience, joy, and beaming smiles for generations of children. To learn more about cleft lips and palates and how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community all over the world, please visit smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, lighting up the world with smiles for 25 years.
As a mom, I want my kids' lives to be filled with joy and possibility, and I want that for every kid. That's why I support No Kid Hungry. They work in schools and communities to make sure every kid gets the healthy meals they need. Please join me in supporting No Kid Hungry for all kids.
Thank you!
Join us live for our weekly worship. Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube.
Well, Pastor, I'm doing the best I can, but I still gotta have a little Chardonnay, and I still gotta have a little this, and I gotta still sneak around. The devil is a liar. That's an excuse.
Wilmington's most exciting church.
Christopher Holton. I'm very active. It was a Saturday morning. Normally I go for my normal walk.
With no warning, Chris suffered a near-fatal heart attack. But thankfully, Brian Buckley, a bystander, saw him collapse and rushed to help.
He did this big gasp for air and then just stopped. It's like I went into autopilot. It's like all that training I did back in the day around CPR just magically came out of nowhere.
Because of the CPR training that Brian received, Chris did make it and didn't die on the trail that day. CPR training provided by the American Heart Association.
Looking at your hands, these two hands could save a life.
Being a father, you want to be around. You want to be around for your kids.
Heart disease is America's #1 killer. To learn more about how the American Heart Association helps save lives, go to helpheart.org.
And we're back. Kobe, what's going on with the Kobe Corner on this week?
Yeah, so first off, I want to talk about a follow-up from last week, which was there was a effort made to remove Councilman Hackett and I from the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee, Councilwoman Shanae Darby from the Finance and Economic Development Committee, completely delete and get rid of the Intergovernmental Committee, and also remove Michelle Harley from the Education, Youth, and Families Committee meeting.
All right, before you go any further, I want to stop there and tell you how that smells, okay? Please hold your thoughts and keep coming. That smells very dirty. I'm going to tell you why. You alleged that there was a system put together to try to get rid of younger committee members. Now you're saying to me that you, Hackett, and Shanae Darby it was going to be a recommendation to remove you all.
Yes.
Then it was going to also be a recommendation to remove
Harley,
which easily we can say, well, even I was going to be removed from a committee, but the committee was not significant. Now, if they would have said to remove Harley from the Finance Committee, then I can understand that better. But the one that she's trying to move off is a committee that you happen to chair.
Correct.
Am I correct?
No. I'm just a member of Community Development.
Community Development? Okay, all right. So just that one committee. And that's just how people do to cover up what they're doing. Secondly, then to get rid of a full committee, why would that be of interest?
Because they don't like the committee and they don't like the chair.
Okay. And even though that's subjective, I'm just asking you because I'm going to keep asking questions and we're going to keep exposing things. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I got to keep cutting you off because my seniors are watching. People are watching. They want to know whether or not, we get into the heart of it. Last week, we were a little bit more emotional because we just heard a lot about it. This week, we won't even go there with the emotion side. We want to make sure we lay the facts out because I was also told that there was no email sent to anybody. And then all of a sudden, I get an email that was directed to specific council people, but omitting some council people. And I was told there was never such email.
Exactly. They are going around, and I'm going to read the email. Yes. It is a public email because it came from a council person CCing multiple council people, and it was directed to our law department to draft this resolution. The email came from Christopher C. Johnson, councilman for the 7th District, and CC'd on it is Elijah Simmons, who's the council chief of staffer, Michelle Harley, who is a councilwoman, Yolanda McCoy, who is a councilwoman, Xanthia Oliver, who is a councilwoman, Maria Cabrera, who is a councilwoman. All of them were involved with this meeting.
And what they will say is because they are the senior council people.
Daniel Walker, who's the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Communication for the Mayor's Office, and Marshall Bass-Knight, who is council staff as well, too. She's our senior strategist and CFO. Good evening, Rose, John, and Betsy. On behalf of council senior leadership, including Councilwoman Harley and Councilwoman McCoy, I would like to move forward with a timely request, or time-sensitive resolution and ordinance. Senior leadership would like these ready for a final vote on July 10th, as they do not need to go to committee. So skipping the committee and going straight to the floor.
Is that legal?
It is.
Okay.
There is a process to do it. But again, they're saying, it would have been time to talk about it. No, it wouldn't. It would have went to a final vote as per this email. So everything we were saying before we got the email was correct. Yeah. Number 1, committee personnel change resolution. This is requesting a resolution to be drafted, and this is what they wanted in it. A, community development and urban planning, remove Hackett and Owens. That means remove Councilman Hackett and Councilman Owens as members of that committee. B, education and family, remove Harley. C, finance, remove Darby. HID, it is really HEAA because it's the Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disabilities. If Councilman Johnson actually showed up to some meetings, he would know that we changed that name all the way back in January. No changes. And E, intergovernmental, delete the committee. So that is what the email said. And we're going to put the email up on screen. This is an official email from City Council. This is not being made up. Don't listen to all those council members who keep saying that there's no email. Oh, they knew nothing about this. They are CC'd on this. They were in a meeting. And again, their names are being used multiple times throughout this email. They had a behind door meeting, an unsanctioned meeting, where they violated multiple rules. Because here's the thing. You have 3 members who are on the Education, Youth, and Family Committee who was at this meeting, and they made a decision about that committee. That violates FOIA. When you make a decision like that, it has to be noticed by 7 days, and public comment has to be there, and you have to make it open to the public. They did not do that. Also, they have made some changes about hiring a sergeant in arms for public safety because they fear for their safety, even though they were all virtual for the rent control or rent stabilization vote. They feared for their safety. So therefore, they put forth a resolution that deals with public safety that, again, violates FOIA because there was 3 members of the Public Safety Committee in this meeting. They refuse to talk about what else was discussed in this meeting. They believe because they are senior leaders that they do not have to answer questions. So as the good investigator I am, I went to HR and I asked HR to give me a breakdown of what are the official titles of council members. And from HR, the official titles of all council positions can be found in the position allocation list. The official titles of council members are limited to those provided below. It says President of Council. That is currently Trippy Congo.
Right.
Finance Chairman or Chairwoman. That is currently Michelle Harley. President Pro Temp. That is currently Yolanda McCoy. And council member.
So
that are the only titles.
Where's the senior council
Senior
position?
council person, senior legislator is not an official title, and they are using the inappropriate titles to try to distinguish themselves against 2 younger elected officials for the sole purpose that they are discriminating against us based upon our age. And they want to be able to separate themselves from us because they don't like that we're young.
Now, what about Shanae Darby? Isn't she a senior council member too then?
Well, she
on,
doesn't qualify because she's only a 2-term elected, even though so is Chris Johnson.
I was going. See, you took it out of my mouth. So if Chris Johnson is a senior legislator, why isn't Shanae Darby a senior legislator?
Because they do not like Councilwoman Darby.
Okay, now let me just say this to those of you who are watching me, and I'm trying my best to be very careful, but I'm not. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Now, if you all thought that we were supporting people like Hackett and Cohen, if you thought we were supporting them because I had a personal agenda, you were wrong. The reason why I came out public and supported these 2 particular young brothers, but it was others who I supported too, and all of them did get in. But the reason why I supported the 2 is because, one, they're college graduates, they went to liberal art colleges and universities, which means their intellectual curiosity is always being sparked. They will ask 1,000 questions because they're trained to ask 1,000 questions. Because a person is an executive in some company, because a person may have been around as a corrupt politician for a long time, doesn't negate or make them better. I want you who are watching us, let's stop taking sides and let's deal with what's fair. We elected people to be in office. For them to get together, that smells like corruption, like nothing. For a meeting to occur, forget about all the rules. And the president of the city council wasn't even on the email. I have the emails. You saw it on the screen. We're not hiding anything. Wrong is wrong. And I said this to Councilwoman Harley when I spoke with her. One of the reasons why there was a big uprise is because there was so much corruption under the last mayor. And the same people who are starting all the shenanigans are from that last mayor's regime. We don't want Chris Johnson dictating nothing that's happening in our community because he's not from our community. I don't know, what is his nationality?
He's African
No,
American.
no, he's not. Because you black don't mean you're black.
Not all skin folk are kinfolk.
Thank you. I said it. I'm here to represent it, and I'm not taking it back. If you think it's fair to treat two brothers, and Shanae is there too, and because they don't like them, they ask too many questions. This is what I'm reading. This is what I'm seeing. I'm not going to let Kobe take this weight on his own because that's wrong. And Hackett, I know he's an entrepreneur. He's a graduate of an HBCU. Kobe is a community active. Sure, they have special interests, but this has nothing to do with the special interests. It has to do with the fact that they are challenging and they're not leaving room for corruption and they want everything to be transparent. That's what I'm reading. Because when I was told there was never an email and then I get the email, I'm angered. And I know I'm trying to get a zoning. I know people can try to play games, but you don't want to play games with a person like me. Because I too went to college. I too understand that we're here to represent people, not our own special interests. So what my goal is, and I'm serious, and we're going to keep talking about this until this. Now, to my understanding, the 10th of July has been pulled.
So the resolution to remove us because of public pressure has been removed. Because people in the community have called out their actions. They said it never happened. Oh, we never put it on the agenda officially. So I don't know why everyone's upset. Well, no, you were drafting it and you asked for the committee process to be skipped.
Yeah.
So therefore it would have been no notice to the community except for 7 days prior to that. So that would have been July 3rd. They would have posted it and we would have had it till July 10th. So again, y'all like making all these assumptions about me. But one thing no one can debate is I'm an organizer and I can get the community out. So it's very interesting that Councilwoman Cabrera wanted to be involved with this meeting and removing 2 people from her committee, especially after our rent stabilization vote, where all 4 of the people who were being removed from committees voted for something that hundreds of people came out and spoke in favor of. Hundreds of residents have reached out to us for listening to the residents over our donors. Well, not my donors, maybe just Maria Cabrera's. They wanted to remove us from the committee. So I brought to light that there was some mismanagement with the land bank. A land bank that we've had multiple debates on, that Councilwoman Cabrera, as chair of community development, put forth a resolution to add herself as a board member to the land bank's board. And then she's been an active member there. She knew they were having financial issues, mismanagement of things, failing audits, and she still pushed for them to get $1 million of taxpayer dollars. I brought that up during a meeting because we were having a meeting on the land bank, and she admitted she knew that there was financial mismanagement, and she still pushed for them to get $1 million. Now, again, this isn't just Kobe talking, because I know, some of the senior members of council ran to some of the elders in the community and said, oh, Kobe's just trying to discredit people. Here's the thing. In the last session, this former mayor, Mike Pizicki, nominated Terrence Jones to be our city auditor. The council voted and approved Terrence Jones to be our city auditor. Mayor Carney has appointed Terrence Jones to be our city auditor. This current iteration of council voted and confirmed Terrence Jones to be our city auditor. City audits auditor can have performance audits done, and then they're posted to a city website as official city documents. So I had an official city document done by our official city auditor, and I brought that forth to say, hey, in 2024, before y'all voted on this, you knew y'all were under audit because of mismanagement of funds. You still pushed for it in the budget. And here's the findings of that audit. There was 8 findings: accounting staff, financial reporting, job costing and capital improvement accounting, evaluation of inventory of lots, evaluation of reserves for losses on lots, evaluation of restricted and unrestricted fund balances, segregation of duties, and competitive bidding.
Wow.
F. They failed every category. And there's 4 categories you could have: Strong control is a 1. Controlled effectively is a 2. Controlled improved required is a 3. And significant improvement required is a 4. That means you're absolutely doing horrible. They got a 4 in every category, all 8 findings, right?
Wow.
The conclusion, the current state of the land bank's financial reporting is not acceptable and must improve immediately. In March of 2024, a new finance director, director of finance and grants, and a new accounting consulting firm were retained to begin work to correct these accounting issues and create new procedures. It has yet to be seen if any of that work has been done. This is in March of 2024. They failed the audit for 2022, 2023, 2024.
And she pushed for $1 million.
And she pushed for $1 million.
Wow. And they don't even want to give a person who's struggling $15 extra to help them with rent.
Correct.
Wow, that is devastating.
Also in this, the land bank needs short-term assistance for a high-level financial professional to provide the current accounting consulting firm and retained it elsewhere, as this is a small business with a $5 million annual budget. These issues can easily be resolved by a financial professional with accounting experience and accounting education. They had no one on the roads. They were just paying someone who had no accounting background. They were just paying someone, burning money.
Wow.
The lots that we have been complaining about, we don't know about the lots. The community can't go get lots. They were reserving them for their friends and giving them away at a cheaper price. That's why we had loss of funds with the land bank, which then means we have to pour more city tax dollars into it. Now, I will say this. They have a new executive director, but Maria Cabrera has been on the board. She has been on the board. And again, this shows that this is a failure of her role as a board member and as a council member who's supposed to be on the board for oversight.
You know what, Kobe, I'm listening to you as a council person speaking, but if this was done in like the city of Philadelphia or in Baltimore, where they have real press, where they had real media, this would be all exposed.
Oh, yeah.
But people like these council persons, they know it's going to be talked about a little bit and then it goes away. And one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't like me is because I will hold on to something. Like we got this, and no disrespect to anyone, and I love the Congo family. Don't misunderstand that. And when Mrs. Congo and all of them, I love all of them, and I have always, and respect them. But when that thing happened with our church, and it wasn't the Congo Funeral Home that did it, it was that construction company. I put a restriction on anything for any of those owners where we boycotting. And for the last 9 years, we have not lifted our boycott. And I know how many funerals and other things have left away. We got to start holding people accountable. This is horrible. You're telling me that a person sitting on the land bank is in the city council voting on items that affects the land bank.
Yes.
Come on. And nobody is raising the alarm to this? Why isn't there an alarm to be impeached? We want to impeach Donald Trump so quickly. What about things like this? And I think, honestly, this is what I'm calling. I hope somebody's listening to us today. We need an organizer who can prepare people to run for office. Pastor Curry said it today. This is the 29th of June. We need an organizer, somebody out there. If you know anything about politics and you can organize people, we need some people to be organized to run against people because people have become comfortable. They didn't want you. This is why the police and all of my folks didn't want you in the city council, because you talk too much. Shut up. Sit in a corner. You're not a senior legislator who understands that the only way to the top is to grease your palms. And we don't want you to be corrupted to that level. We don't want Hackett to be corrupted to that level. But right now, we need to find, and I hope you're listening to me, and I'm willing to host meetings here at the church. We need to develop people to run against people because we don't have the press here. I'm glad that we're going to keep this source going, whether 28 continues or not. But we need real press so that these things can be exposed, lies. I was told there was no email. That's an outright lie. I was told that. I now have the emails. You now have the emails because you've seen it on the screen. Why? How can you lie like that and not be held accountable? How could you sit on a committee? How can you sit on council and then be on a board and vote knowing they've failed audit after audit after audit for negligence and for incompetency and then still push $1 million their way? That's outright corruption. And we should not be taking that. I couldn't do it here at East Zion Fair. I couldn't do it in this community. I was just trying to build a couple houses and they gave me heck just to do the few houses I wanted to do. This is wrong and somebody gonna have to start addressing it. And Kobe, I don't think that you and the others who are doing the right thing should have to keep taking this type of pressure like he's to this and he's to that. You just want the truth. You just want it to be exposed.
And when you start asking questions and then the next thing you're getting removed from committees, it almost seems like they're trying to cover something up and silence you. But again, they mess with the wrong person. Yeah. Because like I said the other day, I looked at my risk and I had time today. So again, if they want to play these games, they can be played. I would prefer not to have to do the whole public thing, go on social media. But if these senior council members who have been saying this from day one, so it means they came into this council, right? They came into this council with the mindset that they're better than the newly elected council members. And let's just get something straight. All those district council members who were in this meeting, at the end of the day, in the general election, I had more people vote for me than all of y'all. Than all of y'all. So again, I'm here to do the work. When I start asking questions and then it comes out that, oh, now we're removing Kobe from things. Because why? Because Butterfield funds your campaign? Because he goes and knocks doors for you? There is a little rumor, I won't talk about it, about Bud helping Maria with more than a $600 check to pay for things that she needs. But if you want to act childish, act like high schoolers, then I don't have to act like that every day, but you're going to be put in your place. Yeah. So please don't get upset with me for bringing it to light. Admit you're wrong, apologize, and let's move forward.
And do what's right and move forward.
And let's do what's right and move forward.
Because that problem is that this corruption is just continuously. We need some more council people. That's what we need.
Oh, yeah.
We need some more council people who care about the citizens, who are not concerned about their pocketbooks, and getting apartments and getting houses and getting favors from people. We need some real, and I hope for all of our seniors who are watching us and middle-aged and young people, yes, Kobe, it is true that you know how to organize the community and get them out there. They look at that as being a mob-like thing. And I did hear from one of the council persons that they were concerned about their safety. But if you do what's right, you don't need to be concerned about your safety. Now, it's like they whitewash and they trying to find a way to talk about everything but the issue.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, here's my issue, right? I was elected to show up, and based off attendance, I'm one of the few members who have shown up to every single council meeting so far. I've shown up to every single meeting of a committee that I'm assigned to. I've shown up to the vast majority of committee meetings as well, too, even the ones I'm not assigned to. I'm a very active council member. But I will say this to Councilwoman Cabrera, why on June 5th, she left the council meeting after she did a presentation claiming she didn't feel good. But what she didn't realize is when she got online, she had her camera on and it showed that instead of being in her council seat, she was over at the Oyster House over Charlie Square having drinks because you could see the drink thing right in her camera view before she realized her camera was on. So again,
wow.
Let's talk about who shows up to work and who does
Wow,
not.
this is horrible. This is horrible. This is not good. This is just not good. Kobe, and then they want to put you the fault. You the
Oh, yeah.
If you just be quiet, if you just let us do what we want to do, we'll like you. That's just not the way you're developed. It's not the way you're trained. That's not the way your formation is. Let's put it out there. Let's do what is right. Let's help our citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not always for. I always joke with you. No, sometimes I'm serious when I talk about you a liberal, because I don't consider myself to be a liberal. But you do fight for causes. Sometimes I say, well, I'm not really interested in that. But I've never heard you yet get to a place where your agenda is the only agenda. That's the difference. And I say that to you, and I say that to those who are watching us, because I have been around people who their agenda is the only agenda. And that irritates me. So while me and you and I may disagree on an agenda item, you're willing to say, okay, this makes sense. Let me continue to work with him on this or work with him on that. This is just outright corruption that's going on.
Oh, absolutely. And I had a bill that was supposed to go to the Community Development Committee. The chair didn't want it on the agenda. So I had to move it to a different committee, which is fine, because I think this ordinance is key and critical to an issue that we're having. Now, the Councilwoman Cabrera did not want my down payment and settlement program on the agenda, right?
And that's community development, right?
That is community development.
Okay.
And what this down payment assistance program does is creates $15,000 worth of forgivable loans for an individual who teaches in the city of Wilmington.
Wow. That's a good
Do we
one.
not have a teacher shortage?
Yes, we do.
Is it not hard to find quality educators to teach in the city of Wilmington right now? So again, I am trying to help here. This is something that schools have asked for. This is something that educators have asked for. But I didn't just stop there. Oh no, I'm too ambitious. I don't understand what workforce housing is. So you know what they told me is, oh, your program is too inclusive. Why is it too inclusive? Oh, well, you want to include people who aren't just educators. Yes, you're right. So to the public, I ask you, do you believe that certified educators should have assistance in moving into the city?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
I think that helps stabilizes our neighborhoods. It helps with getting vacant properties into home ownership opportunities. But yes, I did. My ambitious self added more people in there. We added in school counselors. We added in the school nurse. I added in paraprofessionals. I added in social workers in the school. And I added in the school bus drivers in the custodial and maintenance staff. Why? Because that all impacts.
What you did wrong was you did not include the developers. See, this is where you're messing up. I agree with them, because you did not include the developers. You did not include people that are not relevant to the school shortage. And you supposed to include them so they can help your finances and you can continue to get elected.
Listen, we're in a housing crisis. Right now, the average down payment is about $30,000. Now, a teacher starting salary is anywhere from about 66 to 67, depending on the school district they're in. The city of Wilmington has 5 different school districts. But when we talk about schools that actually operate, this is for public schools, we have 3 school districts: Christina, Red Clay, Brandywine School District. They all have schools here. And then we also have the public charters as well, too. With all of those, right? It is hard not only to get a good teacher in one of those schools, but to help keep them here. If we can anchor them in our community where they have the opportunity to not only work here, they can walk to school. It's an environmental issue, bill as well too. They can walk to school. They can be residents, active resident in the community, get to know their students. We have seen how that has changed educational outcomes across this country. Right. When we desegged our schools, city council's power and the city's power was stripped away. And I know Mayor Carney's working on trying to give us more power back, but this is how we start helping with the educator side of it. This is how we start building steps towards creating more opportunities and more incentives to want to teach in city schools, because you get more benefits And these are good, high quality teachers as well too.
Yeah, I think that that's a great piece of legislation, but she didn't want it in her committee, so because you forgot some groups. Okay, you didn't include the land bank, you didn't include those things. So when you put those in there, we'll go back to her committee.
Right.
But you did move that legislation to another committee, right?
Yep, and it moved out of committee. We're still having conversations with superintendents on how we can really make this work and see if we can even get the school to put up some money as well too, to increase that $15,000 range, and see if we can also to keep this program going, see if we can go to some of the local banks and lenders and talk about them investing in a special fund to help this so that we don't have to continue to put money through taxpayer dollars out. I am trying to be fiscally responsible here while also trying to grow this city, bring more wages to this city, and help this city survive.
Thank you. And that's all I'm going to say. You got another thing on your agenda. I want to make sure you get a chance to see the state budget and the
yes. So the state budget passed the state house the other day. It's a $6.5 billion budget. Again, this creates. They're adding in $8 million in early literacy emergency funds. They're raising teacher salaries across the state to start at $60,000. Brandywine and Red Clay is a little higher than the state average already. And again, some of the major things in here is additional $40 million for Medicaid funding, $89.2 million for state employee benefits and post-employment investments, $1.2 million for the Office of Conflict Counsel contract, $1.3 million for reducing residential lead exposure, $1.4 million for increasing nutrition assets for vulnerable populations, and $2 million for assisting victim services and federal funding cuts. The state bond bill was introduced and will be voted on prior to June 30th. June 30th is the deadline for everything to get passed, which is tomorrow. They will be in the General Assembly on June 30th. They stay in past midnight to July 1 to start the next year. So again, as if the bond bill passes, we will keep you updated on that as well too.
And if there's any changes. Yes, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, what I want to do is I want Kobe to, we're going to read for you the emails because it's still troubling me. It really is. And one of the things I'm just a person that's different. I want you to see, since the rumor is out there was never no email, they're just talking from smoke. I want you to see, as Kobe is going to read the email, this is public information. This is not any private information that was given. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
How you doing, community? I'm Alexander Hackett, and I'm here today to talk about Community Staffing Agency. I am the owner of an educational staffing firm. And what we do is we staff all the schools in Delaware with substitute teachers, paraprofessionals, janitorial, and even substitute nurse. So if you have a school and you need our services, please contact me. But also, if you're in the community right now and you're looking for a job, please find me. And the way you can find me is by visiting communitystaffingagency.com, but also get into my direct line, 302-252-8982. Please contact me, please reach out. If you need assistance with your school or if you're looking to get into school, Community Staffing Agency is the place to be.
Life can throw a lot at us, but what helps us through it is knowing we have a place where we feel loved, grounded, and safe. A place where we belong. A place called home. But for thousands of youth living on the streets, there's no such thing as home. Out here, it's a predatory world that can destroy lives forever. At Covenant House, we care for homeless and at-risk youth, working in communities just like yours, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here, these kids will get a shower, clean clothes, nourishing meals, and a safe place to sleep. Our caring staff teach life skills, offer stability, and encourage kids to believe in themselves so they stay off the streets for good. We're committed to giving lost, scared, and hurting children a place to go, a place to call home. To help or get help, go to safeplacetosleep.org.
It's good to see you. It's so great to be with everyone again.
Yeah, it is.
How have you been? I'm not good. I haven't been good. The truth is, for a while now, I feel like I've been stuck in a dark place. I can't remember feeling happy. No one really hears me, you know? I'm good. Yeah, things are good. That's good.
Hey, boss. Okay?
I said I'm fine.
See you in the morning with the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it, and we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
This land we love belongs to all of us. Yet not everyone is treated equally. Right now, millions of Americans are fighting for the things promised to all by the Constitution: freedom, justice, equality. The ACLU is leading the fight to protect our civil liberties. Together, we can protect and advance our rights nationwide, because we the people means all of us.
This land was made for you and me.
Learn how the ACLU is defending the right to vote, free speech, and other civil liberties at myaclu.org.
And we're back. Kobe, I would like for you to read this email because, again, I was told directly that there is no such email and there was no such situation going on. And I want the public to be able to hear on the source the email that is public record as opposed to it being private. And while he's reading this, please, we're going to put the letter up on the screen so that you can see the letter as he's reading it. And I also want you to note the people who are missing. So start, Kobe, by saying who's on the email and then read the email, please.
Yes, this is an email for Christopher C. Johnson, Councilman 7th District, to members of our law department, CCing our City Council's Chief of Staff, City Council's CFO, and the Mayor's Deputy Chief of Staff. And the council members included are Councilwoman Michelle Harley, Councilwoman Yolanda McCoy, Councilwoman Zathia Oliver, and Councilwoman Maria Cabrera. Subject: legislative requests, time-sensitive housekeeping safety. Good evening, Rose, John, and Betsy. On behalf of council senior leadership, including Councilwoman Harley and Councilwoman McCoy, I would like to move forward with a time-sensitive resolution/ordinance. Senior leadership would like these to be ready for a final vote on July 10th, as they do not have time to go to committee. Number 1, committee personnel change resolution. The following changes are requested to the committee assignments. A, CDUP, Community Development and Urban Planning. Remove Hackett and Owens. That's Councilman Hackett, Councilman Owens. B, Education Family. Remove Harley. That's Councilwoman Michelle Harley, who attended this meeting. C, Finance and Economic Development. Remove Darby. That's Councilwoman Shanae Darby. D, HID, no changes. I'm guessing he meant the Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disabilities Committee. No changes. E, Intergovernmental, delete the committee completely. That is what the email states. It also talks about some rule changes. Rule 3, They want to require council members to be present and in their seat for the vote to be counted. The intent is to continue to allow virtual participation for all meetings. However, the members must be present in the chambers to take. All of them were not present except for McCoy during the rent stabilization vote, but they want to try to pitch it as it's the other side who doesn't show up, even though I have not missed a single meeting. And Councilman Hackett has only missed one. Rule 9, revert back to the rule language of the 108th session. This is having to vote on an ordinance in committee instead of allowing it to go to the floor for the full council to vote on it. Rule 10, standing committee, delete intergovernmental. And Rule 10-2, committee of the whole, strike through on a regular basis and insert on a quarterly basis. They want to make the committee of the whole meeting once a quarter. Point number 3, safety protocol. Given the recent safety issues experienced at the June 5th council meeting, in addition to the continued violence against public officials such as the Minnesota tragedy, senior leadership would like to propose a safety-related ordinance. Desire was for the city council building to have similar safety protocols as the General Assembly, including prohibition on, I think he meant
protests.
Protests?
He meant protesters.
Yeah, I think he means protesters there. He spelled it wrong, y'all.
Yeah.
Signage and other similar devices.
Take it away
From
the
a
First Amendment.
conversation I had, those other similar devices mean shirts that have writing on it.
Not guns.
Not guns.
Okay. That's good.
Shirts that have writing on it. Because they didn't like that some of the people who came and gave public comment, their shirt said the rent's too blank word high. Even though we had council members cussing at people. And then Sergeant in Arms. Senior leadership is seeking to add a Sergeant in Arms position similar to the General Assembly. This would be a new position and may be required to go to the admin board. Again, this is a huge, huge, huge concern. Seeing an email like this, they made decisions that had to do with public safety, which violates FOIA for our Public Safety Committee, and decisions in regards to the Education, Youth, and Families Committee, which also violates that committee as well too. Unless they can produce the minutes of this meeting, I think that the Attorney General should hold them all accountable for their actions.
How do you hold city councilmen accountable? I know we all the
Ethics
time.
complaints can be filed. FOIA violation complaints can be filed, and I'm sure they're going to be filed because city employees felt uncomfortable with this email and reached out to people. You had other council members that once they found out, they reached out as well too. People are not happy about being involved with such petty actions like this. And it's sad that, you know, this is what happened. So again, I think Councilman Johnson needs to do some self-reflection. And I think Councilwoman Cabrera needs to step down as Community Development and Urban Planning Chair.
You said Chris Johnson should do some self-reflection. His self-reflection is about himself. That ain't gonna help him. But I agree with you on both of them. But I do think that maybe we need to figure out what the Attorney General can do, because it's a shame that if you didn't have the kind of influence in the community, this would have went through. Not only you, Hackett, and others, it would have went through, and it would have been a sad day because the people voted you all in, and the people really, really are happy to see that there are people who are trying to give them the truth. I'm hurt. We're gonna come back next week and we're gonna talk a little bit more about it. And one of the things I want to make sure that I continuously say, we got to work together and we got to be better. And if this senior legislators want to have that title, it's time for the senior legislators to retire. So we can bring some new blood in and do what we have to do. We're tired of the corruption. We're tired of the games. We thought getting rid of the mayor would be a happy day for our city, but some of the corruption remained because some of the corrupted leaders who supported everything he wanted to do is still doing it. Kobe, I have nothing else for today. You have anything today?
That's all I have for today.
Next week we will be back, and I look forward to seeing you. God bless.
Take care, y'all.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry. and co-host Kobe Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.